The crystal pool reflected 2 moons in its still water, as Luna Martinez removed her armor piece by piece. The elf woman had been tracking void creatures for 3 days straight, through the dense forests of Zerion 7. Her silver hair fell past her waist when she pulled out the metal pins that held it up. Her pointed ears twitched at every small sound in the darkness around her. 3 small dragons played near the pool edge. Spark had scales like burning coals that glowed soft red in the night. Ember was orange as sunset with wings that caught moonlight like stained glass. Ash was gray as storm clouds with eyes like silver coins. Each dragon was no bigger than a house cat, but their loyalty to Luna was fiercer than any war beast. 10 times their size, Luna stepped into the warm water and sighed as it washed away dirt and dried blood from her pale skin. The pool was hidden deep in the forest where no one ever came. She had found it months ago when she first arrived on this moon to set up her patrol station. The water had natural minerals that healed small wounds and eased tired muscles. She floated on her back and watched stars through the canopy of alien trees. Earth was out there somewhere, the planet where her ancestors had lived before the great change. Humans had left Earth 3,000 years ago, when resources ran low and wars threatened to destroy everything. But some stayed behind. Those who remained discovered something amazing. When the machine stopped and cities fell, nature brought back the old magic. Humans changed and evolved. Some became elves like Luna, with longer lives, better senses, and the ability to speak with animals. Others became different things that the galaxy still did not fully understand. Luna heard her dragon suddenly hiss and growl. She stood up in the waist-deep water and listened. Twin heartbeats approached through the forest, moving in perfect sync. Military training by the sound of their footsteps. But not human footsteps. These were heavier with a different rhythm. 2 figures emerged from the dark trees and stopped dead when they saw her. They were identical in every way. 7 feet tall with dark blue skin that looked like deep ocean water. 4 arms each with 6 fingers on every hand. Golden eyes that glowed softly in the darkness. They wore matching black military suits with energy weapons strapped to their backs. The twins stared at Luna standing naked in the moonlit pool. Their mouths opened but no words came out. Their golden eyes moved from her face down her body, then back up again. They seemed frozen in place, unable to move or look away. Luna felt no embarrassment. Elves had different ideas about the body than most species. They saw physical form as natural art, something to appreciate, not hide. She stood still and let them look while she studied them in return. Andromedans, she recognized their species from her military training. Twin males, which was rare even for their kind. They usually served as elite scouts or special forces soldiers, always worked in perfect pairs, sharing thoughts and movements like one being split in 2. Her dragons flew up from the pool edge and circled the twins aggressively. Spark breathed tiny jets of flame, while Ember screeched warnings. Ash flew silent circles, watching for any threatening movement. The dragons were ready to attack if these strangers tried to hurt their companion. The first twin finally found his voice and spoke in broken universal standard. We very sorry. Not mean to interrupt private moment. We tracking dangerous animal through forest. Get lost in darkness, see light and hope. Find path. His twin brother added, his voice shaking slightly. We are Zack and Kor from 3rd Fleet Patrol, ship hunting creature that killed 7 colonists in settlement north from here. Follow tracks to this place. Not expect find anyone. Luna walked slowly through the water toward the pool edge. Her dragons kept circling the twins, but she whistled softly, and they flew back to land on nearby branches. Their eyes never left the strangers even as they obeyed their companion. You should not be here, Luna said calmly as she reached for her clothes. This entire forest is restricted space. Protected territory of Earth remnant forces. You need permission to enter. The twin, called Zack, stepped forward slightly. Earth still exists. Our database says your world died when humans left. No life remains there. Luna pulled on her black undersuit, not hurrying as the twins watched every movement. Some humans left, but others stayed behind. We changed when the magic returned. We became something new. She gestured to her pointed ears, and the dragons. Evolution did not stop when the starships launched. Kor moved closer. To his brother, "You are elf. We study old Earth stories in academy. Stories say elves are myths from human imagination. Not real beings. Very real," Luna said as she strapped on her armor plates made from scales, stronger than any metal the dragons gave them to me after I saved their mother from void spawn. 2 years ago when I first came to patrol this sector. The ground shook suddenly, and a roar echoed through the forest that made the twins grab their weapons. The sound was deep and powerful, like thunder given voice. Trees in the distance cracked and fell as something massive moved through them. Luna recognized that sound immediately, and her face became serious. "That is the mother dragon. You have walked into her territory during nesting season. She will kill you both if she finds you here, Mother Dragon." Zack said, his blue face becoming lighter with fear. "The beast we hunt is dragon, not beast," Luna corrected sharply. "Guardian protector of this moon and 3 others in this system. She keeps the void creatures from entering this dimension through the weak points in space. The colonists who died were probably infected by void parasites. She was trying to stop the spread." Another roar came closer, and the twins looked ready to run. Luna grabbed her weapons belt and strapped it around her waist. Her dragons flew down to perch on her shoulders and arms. "Follow me," Luna commanded. "If you want to live past the next few minutes, stay close and do exactly what I say." The mother dragon knows me, but strangers in her territory during nesting season wake her killing instinct. The twins looked at each other, having one of those silent conversations that their species was known for. Then they nodded together and moved to follow Luna as she walked toward the sound of breaking trees. Luna moved through the dark forest like she was born to it. Her bare feet made no sound on the forest floor. Her dragon's eyes provided just enough light to see the path. The twins struggled to keep up, crashing through bushes and stumbling over roots, their 4 arms not helping them navigate the dense vegetation. They entered a massive clearing where trees had been knocked down in a wide circle. In the center stood a dragon so large that her head rose above the forest canopy. Her scales were black as space between stars, but they caught moonlight and threw it back in rainbow patterns. Her eyes burned white-hot like miniature suns. The mother dragon turned her massive head toward them, and the twins froze in terror. Her teeth were each as long as their arms. Her claws had carved deep grooves in the stone ground beneath her. One wing stretched out could cover their entire patrol ship. Luna walked forward without fear, speaking in a language that sounded like music mixed with wind. The mother dragon lowered her enormous head until she was eye level with Luna. Steam rose from her nostrils in the cool night air, creating clouds that drifted across the clearing. The elf woman placed her hand on the dragon's snout, which was larger than her entire body. They stood together for a long moment while the twins watched in amazement. Luna turned back to Zack and Kor, who had not moved from the clearing edge. She says, "You smell like fear and blood, but not malice. You are hunters, but not evil ones. She will let you live if you explain why you came to her territory with weapons." Kor stepped forward carefully, keeping his 4 hands visible and away from his weapons. "We came from Settlement 7, where colonists are dying. Something attacks them at night, leaves them empty like shells with no insides. Government sends us to find and kill the creature before more die." His brother Zack added, "We follow tracks for 2 days. Trail leads here to this forest. We think creature hides in these woods during day and hunts at night. Did not know about dragon or protected territory." Luna spoke to the mother dragon again in that strange musical language. The dragon rumbled something that shook the ground beneath their feet. Her white eyes focused on the twins, studying them like a scientist might study specimens. The elf woman translated. She says, "The creatures you seek are void spawn. They slip through cracks in reality where space is weak. This moon has 3 such cracks. The dragon guards them, but some creatures escape when she tends her eggs. The ones killing your colonists are parasites that wear dead bodies like clothing." The twins exchanged worried looks. "How we fight such things?" Zack asked. "Our weapons are plasma and energy, made for physical enemies, not creatures from outside reality." Luna walked back toward them, her 3 small dragons chirping from her shoulders. Fireworks, but not regular fire. Dragon fire burns across dimensions. It can destroy void, spawn completely. That is why dragons are so important. They are natural guardians against things that should not exist in our universe. The mother dragon suddenly turned her head toward the forest and growled. Trees at the far edge of the clearing began to move and shake. Something was coming through them, moving wrong like broken video footage, jumping and stuttering through space. 3 creatures emerged into the moonlight. They looked like colonists at first, wearing the standard gray work clothes of settlement 7. But their movements were puppet-like and jerky. Their eyes were black holes that seemed to pull in light. Their mouths hung open, revealing nothing but darkness inside. Void spawn wearing stolen bodies. Luna said quietly, pulling 2 curved blades from her belt. Stay behind me, and whatever happens, do not let them touch you. Their touch pulls your soul into the void while leaving your body as an empty shell for them to wear. The creatures spotted the group and began moving toward them. Their bodies flickered and jumped, covering 10 feet in a single stuttering motion. One moment they were far away, the next much closer, without having seemed to cross the space between. Luna moved forward to meet them, her dragons launching from her shoulders. Spark breathed a stream of red fire that was more than just flame. It burned with magic as well as heat, hitting the first creature and making it scream with a sound like tearing metal. Ember and ash attacked the second creature together, their small claws leaving marks that glowed and spread like cracks in glass. The void spawn tried to grab them, but the dragons were too fast, dancing through the air like leaves on wind. The third creature went for the twins, moving in that broken, stuttering way that hurt to watch. Zack and Core fired their plasma rifles, but the energy beams passed through the creature without effect. It reached out with colonist hands that trembled and shook. The mother dragon moved faster than something her size should be able to move. Her tail swept across the clearing and struck the creature with devastating force, but instead of destroying it, the impact just knocked it back. The void spawn stood up again, still wearing its stolen colonist body. Luna flipped backward, landing between the twins and the creature. Dragonfire, she shouted. Use dragonfire or they cannot be killed. But we have no dragonfire. Core said desperately as the creature approached again. Luna grabbed both twins by their arms and pulled them toward the mother dragon. She understands the danger. She will help if you trust her. The mother dragon opened her mouth and white fire began to build in her throat. The heat was so intense that the air itself began to burn. The twins wanted to run, but Luna held them steady. Now she commanded, close your eyes and do not breathe. The dragon released her fire in a controlled stream that passed over their heads and struck all 3 void spawn at once. The creatures screamed and writhed as white flames consumed them. Their stolen bodies crumbled to ash, but something else burned too. Dark shadows that tried to escape back to whatever dimension they came from were caught and destroyed. When the fire ended, nothing remained but 3 small piles of gray ash that the wind quickly scattered. Luna released the twins, who were shaking from the near miss with dragon fire. That was too close for comfort, even for her. The mother dragon rumbled something that sounded like satisfaction. She says the void spawn are growing bolder, Luna translated. They usually stay near the dimensional cracks, but hunger drives them farther into inhabited areas. Your colonists need protection or they need to leave. We cannot evacuate entire settlement, Zack said. Government spent too much money establishing it. They will not abandon it for any reason. Then you need guardians, Luna said. Dragons, or those who work with dragons. The void spawn will keep coming as long as the dimensional cracks exist, and the cracks cannot be closed without destroying this entire star system. The mother dragon moved back to the center of the clearing, where Luna now noticed a massive nest made of twisted metal and stone. 12 eggs, each the size of an escape pod, sat nestled in the center. The shells were semi-transparent and small dragon shapes could be seen moving inside. Core stared at the eggs. Dragon young. Soon there will be more guardians. Not soon enough, Luna said. Dragon eggs take 3 years to hatch, and the young need Another 10 years before they can produce fire that affects void spawn. The mother cannot leave her nest unprotected, which is why some creatures escape her watch. The twins looked at each other again in their silent communication way. Then Zack spoke. Carefully, you patrol this sector alone. One elf woman and 3 small dragons against creatures from outside reality. Luna smiled and her dragons made sounds like laughter. Not alone, I have the mother dragon as ally, and my patrol ship has weapons, modified with dragon-scale technology. But yes, it is difficult work. That is why Earth Remnant Forces sent me. I am one of the few who can speak with dragons. We must report this to our command, Kor said. They need to know about void spawn and dragons, and elves from Earth. This changes everything we thought we knew. Luna nodded but held up a hand in warning. Tell them, but also tell them this. These moons are under protection. Any ship that comes with hostile intent will face the dragons. Any colonist who tries to harm the eggs or young will be removed by force. Earth may be changed, but we still protect human settlements, even those who forgot we exist. The mother dragon rumbled again, and Luna listened. Her expression became concerned. She smells more void spawn coming from the north, many more than before. Something has changed at the dimensional crack. It may be widening. How many? Zack asked. Too many for us to fight alone, Luna said, pulling out a communication device from her belt. I need to call my ship, and you need to warn your settlement. Everyone should get inside and seal their doors. Dragonfire can kill void spawn, but we cannot be everywhere at once. The forest suddenly grew cold, and the normal night sounds of insects and small animals stopped completely. The twins' weapons began beeping with proximity, warnings detecting movement from multiple directions. Luna looked at the mother dragon, who was torn between protecting her eggs and fighting the approaching threat. Take your brothers to the settlement, Luna told her dragons. Warn everyone to get inside. Burn any void spawn you find. The 3 small dragons flew off into the night, their eyes glowing like tiny stars. The twins moved closer to Luna and the mother dragon as shadows began moving between the trees. Dozens of them wearing bodies of animals and colonists alike, all moving with that same broken, stuttering motion. This will be a long night, Luna said, drawing her blades. The mother dragon roared agreement that shook the moons and could probably be heard in orbit. The void spawn emerged from the forest in waves. Each one wore a stolen body like a badly fitting suit. Some were colonists still dressed in their work clothes. Others were native animals, twisted into wrong shapes that hurt to look at. They moved, together but without coordination, each one stuttering through space at its own broken rhythm. Luna activated her armor and scales began to glow with soft blue light. The dragon scale plates were gifts from the mother dragon made from scales she had shed. Each piece was inscribed with symbols that dragons use to mark territory and warning. The void spawn seemed to hesitate when they saw the glowing symbols. Zack and Kor stood back to back, their 8 arms holding various weapons they had, switched from plasma rifles to projectile weapons, hoping solid ammunition might work better. The twins moved in perfect synchronization as they always did, each knowing what the other would do before they did it. The mother dragon positioned herself over her nest, protecting the eggs while still being able to fight. Her tail swept in wide arcs, keeping the void spawn from getting too close. Her wings created wind that knocked the smaller possessed animals backward, but she could not use her fire. Without leaving the nest exposed, Luna danced between the creatures, her twin blades singing through the air. Each blade was forged from meteoric metal and blessed by dragonfire. They could hurt void spawn but not kill them. Only dragonfire could truly destroy the parasites from outside reality. We need plan, Kor shouted as he emptied another clip into approaching creatures. Cannot fight all night, more keep coming. Luna flipped over a possessed colonist and landed next to the twins. The dimensional crack must be destabilizing. When they grow unstable, they release more void spawn until they either seal themselves or tear open completely. What happens if tears open completely? Zack asked, though his expression showed he already suspected the answer. This entire moon gets pulled into the void, Luna said. Matter cannot exist there. Everything would be unmade down to the atomic level. The mother dragon roared and released a controlled burst of fire that destroyed 5 void spawn at once. But 10 more took their place, emerging from the forest like nightmares. Given form, Luna pulled out her communicator again and entered emergency codes Dragon Station. This is Lieutenant Martinez, code Black at nesting site. Request immediate bombardment at coordinates. I am sending. A voice crackled back through static. Confirm, code Black. Orbital bombardment will destroy everything in 5-kilometer radius. Confirmed, Luna said. But target northern approach only. Leave escape route to the south. The twins looked at her with surprise. You have orbital weapons, modified mining lasers. Luna explained dragon scales as focusing crystals. Makes the beam burn hot enough to simulate dragon fire. Not as effective, but better than nothing. The mother dragon suddenly screeched. In alarm, Luna turned to see 3 void spawn had circled around and were approaching the nest from behind. They moved faster than the others with more purpose and intelligence. These were not random parasites. These were scouts sent with specific mission to find the eggs. Luna ran toward the nest but knew she would not reach them in time. The mother dragon was pinned on the other side by dozens of creatures. If she moved to protect the eggs from behind, the ones in front would overwhelm them. All Zack and Core did something Luna had only heard about in stories. The twins joined hands and their golden eyes blazed with shared power. They were not just brothers, but mirror souls. 2 halves of one being that had been split at birth. When they joined like this, they became something more. Energy erupted from their connected forms. A sphere of golden light that expanded outward, passing through Luna and the dragon without harm, but striking the void spawn like a physical force. The creatures were thrown backward and for a moment seemed solid enough that regular weapons might work. The mother dragon took advantage immediately. Her fire swept across the stunned creatures, destroying dozens in seconds. Luna reached the 3 near the nest, and her blades struck true, cutting the stolen bodies apart and exposing the shadow parasites within. Small dragon screeches filled the air as Spark, Ember, and Ash returned from the settlement. They dove at the exposed shadows, breathing their small fires that burned across dimensions. The void spawn writhed and died truly dead. Not just dispersed. Orbital strike incoming, Luna shouted. Everyone take cover. The night sky lit up as 3 beams of modified mining lasers struck the forest to the north. The dragon-scale focal arrays turned simple industrial tools into weapons that burned with fraction of true dragon fire. Trees exploded into steam and stone melted to glass. The void spawn caught in the beams screamed as they were unmade. But the bombardment also revealed the source of the problem, visible now through the burning forest. A crack in the air itself, like broken glass that showed absolute darkness beyond. More void spawn were pushing through, widening the crack with their passage. The dimensional rift is critical, Luna said. It will tear completely within the hour. The mother dragon made a decision that clearly caused her pain. She moved away from her nest and began drawing breath for the most powerful fire she could produce. Her entire body glowed from within as she built the energy needed. She plans to seal the crack, Zack said with awe. Such fire might kill her. Luna ran to the dragon and placed her hand on the massive leg. Wait. There is another way. She pulled out a small device. From her armor, a cylindrical object covered in dragon script. Let me anchor you. Share the burden between us. The mother dragon looked at Luna with those burning white eyes. Intelligence far beyond animal looked back. Dragons were old when humans were young. They remembered when magic and technology were the same thing. Luna pressed the device against the dragon scales, and it activated, creating a link between them. The elf woman gasped as dragon thoughts flooded her mind. Ancient memories of stars, being born and dying, of the first void spawns breaking through reality millions of years ago. Together, Luna said, and the dragon agreed. They moved as one being. Luna raised her arms, and the dragon spread her wings. The combined fire that erupted from them was neither purely dragon nor purely technological. It was something new, made from the joining of earth magic and alien power. The beam struck the dimensional crack with force that shook the entire moon. The void spawn, trying to push through, were instantly destroyed. The crack began to shrink, fighting against the fire that sought to seal it. Zack and Core joined hands again and added their own power to the beam. Golden energy, merged with white fire, creating something even stronger. The crack screamed like living thing as it was forced closed. The remaining void spawn on this side of the crack went insane when they realized they were cut off. They attacked with desperate fury, but without reinforcements they were outnumbered now. Luna's dragons harassed them from the air while the twins' weapons suddenly seemed effective against the panicking creatures. The mother dragon swept her tail in great arcs, crushing possessed bodies and exposing the shadows within for the small dragons to burn. Luna danced through the battle, her glowing armor turning her into beacon that the void spawn seemed unable to approach. Within minutes, it was over. The last void spawn died, writhing in dragon fire as its stolen body crumbled to ash. The dimensional crack was sealed, though Luna could feel it still existed, just dormant now instead of active. The mother dragon returned to her nest and carefully checked each egg. They were unharmed, protected by the heat resistance that all dragons possessed from birth. She rumbled contentedly and settled around them once more. Luna collapsed to her knees, exhausted from sharing the dragon's power. The link between them faded, but left echoes of understanding. She would never see the world quite the same way again. The twins helped her stand, their forearms steadying her. "You saved Moon," Kor said. "You saved everyone. Not alone." Luna replied, looking at the dragons, both large and small. "Takes all of us working together. That is the lesson Earth learned when the magic came back. No one survives alone." Dawn was beginning to break over the forest, though much of it was now ash and glass from the orbital strike. Settlement 7 could be seen in the distance, its light still on, meaning the colonists had survived the night. Zack looked at the destruction, then at Luna. "You said you patrol alone, but you have orbital weapons, dragon allies, and magic. We do not understand. What exactly is Earth Remnant forces?" Luna smiled tiredly as her 3 dragons landed on her shoulders. "We are what humanity became when we chose to stay behind. Evolution and magic and time changed us into something new. We guard the places others abandon. We protect those who forget we exist. And we stand between this reality and the things that should not be." She looked at the sealed crack, barely visible now as shimmer in the air. "This is not over. Void spawn will find other ways through. They always do. Then we must learn to fight them." Kor said, "Our people need to know dragons and elves and the danger that threatens all." Luna nodded and pulled out her communicator. "I will contact Earth Command. They will send teachers if your government agrees. But know this. Once you learn about the void, you cannot unknow it. You will see the cracks everywhere and know what waits beyond." The twins looked at each other in their silent way, then nodded together. "We accept." Zack said, "Our people need truth, even if truth is terrible." The mother dragon rumbled something and Luna translated. "She says you are brave for one so young. She will remember you when her children hatch. Perhaps one will choose to bond with your kind dragon riders from Andromeda." Kor said with wonder, "Such thing as pos." 3 days passed since the battle at the nesting site. Luna established a temporary base camp near the sealed dimensional crack to monitor it for any changes. The twins had returned to their ship to report to their command, but came back with surprising news. "Our government wants to meet you," Zack said as he and his brother entered Luna's camp. "They send diplomatic ship arriving tomorrow, High Council members aboard, very interested in Earth, Remnant forces and Dragon Alliance." Luna was cleaning her armor, while her 3 dragons played a game that involved chasing holographic butterflies projected from her data pad. She looked up at the twins with raised eyebrow. "They believed you about void spawn and dragons. Most thought you would be executed for wild stories." Kor sat down on a supply crate, his forearms gesturing expressively. "We show them video from our helmet cameras. Dragon breathing white fire, void spawn wearing dead bodies, you sharing power with dragon to seal crack. They watch 20 times, still not fully believe but cannot deny evidence." The mother dragon had remained at her nest, but Luna could feel her presence through the link they had created. During the sealing of the crack, something permanent had formed between them. Not full bond like she had with her small dragons, but connection nonetheless. "Your council wants something," Luna said. "They would not come personally, just for curiosity." The twins exchanged their silent look before Zack answered. They want protection. Settlement. 7 is most successful colony in this sector. Produces rare minerals needed for faster-than-light drives. Cannot abandon it, but cannot lose more colonists to void spawn. Luna stood and walked to the edge of the camp, where the forest had been replaced by glass and ash from the orbital strike. Already small plants were pushing through the destruction. Life always found a way, especially on worlds touched by dragon magic. Earth has only 100 elves, she said quietly. We patrol 12 sectors between. Us cannot protect every human colony in galaxy, but you could teach others, Kor suggested eagerly. Andromedans are warriors by nature. We could learn your ways, work with dragons, fight void. Spawn Luna turned to study the twins. They were young for their species, probably equivalent to mid-20s in human years. Old enough to fight but young enough to still believe in causes greater than themselves. Teaching someone to work with dragons is not like teaching them to use weapon. Dragons choose their companions based on qualities that cannot be learned. Courage, yes, but also something deeper. Connection to the magic that flows between dimensions. We have that connection, Zack said firmly. When Kor and I join, we touch something beyond normal space. You saw it yourself. Golden energy that affected void spawn. Luna had noticed that their joining was similar to dragon bonds in some ways. Two beings becoming more than sum of their parts. Perhaps Andromedans had their own form of magic that evolved differently than Earth magic. She was about to respond when her dragon suddenly stopped playing and flew to her shoulders, hissing at the sky. Luna looked up to see ship approaching, but not the diplomatic vessel the twins described. This was warship, bristling with weapons. That is not council ship, Kor said, alarmed. That is Zealot-class destroyer. What is warship doing here? Luna activated her armor and sent emergency signal to her own ship. Get behind me. Now the warship descended rapidly and hover, just above the tree line. Its weapons powered up with wine that made the dragon scales stand on end. Landing craft deployed from its belly, and armed soldiers rappelled down surrounding the camp. An Andromedan male emerged from the lead craft. But this one was different from the twins. Older, harder, with scars crossing his blue skin. He wore admiral insignia and moved with authority of someone used to absolute obedience. I am Admiral Vax, he announced, looking directly at Luna. You will surrender, yourself and the dragons, to Andromedan military for study. We need weapons against void spawn, and you will provide them. Luna remained calm, though her dragons were growing more agitated. She could feel the mother dragon stirring at her nest, sensing threat to her ally. I am Lieutenant Martinez of Earth, Remnant Forces. This moon is protected territory. You have no authority here. The Admiral laughed, harsh sound that had no humor. Your Earth is dead myth. 100 elves cannot stand against Andromedan Empire. We take what we need for survival of our people. He gestured, and his soldiers raised their weapons, all aimed at Luna and the twins. Zack stepped forward angrily. Admiral Vax, you exceed authority. Council sends us to negotiate, not conquer. The Admiral backhanded Zack with two of his arms, sending the younger male sprawling. You twins always were too soft. That is why military sends me. Real soldiers, not diplomats, win wars, and make no mistake. This is war against void. Spawn. Kor helped his brother up, and they stood together facing the Admiral. We will not let you do this. We gave our word as representatives of Andromeda. Your word means nothing, Vax said. You are relieved of duty. Both of you. Luna felt the mother dragon rising from her nest. The great beast was coming, and she was angry. Someone had threatened her ally and the twins who had fought beside them. Admiral Vax had made fatal error in assuming Luna was alone and helpless. You want to see Dragon Admiral? She asked calmly. Very well. Ground shook as the mother dragon approached. Trees fell and the warship proximity alarms screamed warnings. The soldiers broke formation, some running back toward their craft as the massive dragon emerged from the forest. The mother dragon was magnificent. In her fury, wings spread to block out the morning sun, eyes blazing white-hot with barely contained fire. Her roar shattered the windows in the landing craft and sent hardened soldiers falling to their knees. Admiral Vax stood his ground. But Luna could see fear in his eyes. He had not truly believed until this moment. Dragons were real, and one stood before him angry and ready to call off your beast. Vax commanded, though his voice shook. "Not my beast," Luna said. "My ally, my friend, and you threatened her eggs by bringing warship to her territory. Dragons have long memories, Admiral. They remember every threat to their young." The mother dragon lowered her head until she was eye level with Vax. Steam from her nostrils washed over him, hot enough to blister skin. She spoke in the dragon language, and Luna translated. "She says you smell of ambition and greed. Not evil, but not good either. You would take power without understanding its cost. You would enslave dragons thinking them animals. She asks if she should eat you now or let you burn slowly." Vax finally showed wisdom and dropped his weapons, his 4 hands spread in surrender. "I apologize, I did not understand." Luna walked forward and placed her hand on the dragon's snout, communicating. Silently. The dragon rumbled but pulled back slightly, giving Vax room to breathe. "You came here with force expecting to take what you wanted. That is old way of thinking. Void spawn cannot be defeated with force alone. They exist partially outside our reality. Weapons mean nothing if you cannot touch them. Then how do we protect our colonies?" Vax asked. "Hundreds of thousands of Andromedans across 12 systems, all vulnerable to these creatures. Same way Earth protects its own." Luna said alliance, not conquest, partnership, not slavery. Dragons are not weapons to be used. They are thinking beings older than our civilizations. They choose to help because they understand the threat void spawn pose to all life. The twins stepped forward together. Core speaking for both, Admiral, we saw them fight together. Elf and dragon sharing power, creating something neither could do alone. That is what we need to learn. Cooperation, not domination. Vax looked at the mother dragon, then at Luna and her 3 small dragons. His soldiers were still cowering by their craft, terrified to move. "If we cannot take dragons or force elves to teach us, then what do you propose?" he asked. Luna smiled, and her dragons chirped sound like laughter. "You ask politely. You send students, not soldiers. You respect the dragons as equals, not resources, and you prove yourselves worthy of their trust." The mother dragon rumbled and returned to her nest, satisfied that the immediate threat had passed. Her eggs were safe and her ally had handled the situation. Vax recalled his soldiers, and they quickly boarded their craft, eager to leave the dragon presence. The Admiral himself remained standing before Luna. "The Council will hear of this," he said. "Good," Luna replied. "Tell them, Earth Remnant Forces is willing to establish formal relations. We will teach those who come in peace. We will share knowledge of void spawn and how to fight them, but we will not be conquered or controlled." The Admiral nodded slowly, then looked at the twins. "You two will return with me to make full report." "We resign from military," Zack said firmly. Core added, "We stay here to learn, if Earth will have us as students." Luna considered the twins. They had fought bravely beside her, had added their power. To seal the crack, had stood against their own Admiral to protect the Alliance. "You may stay," she decided. "But understand this is not easy path. Dragons do not accept everyone, and void spawn are only one danger among many that lurk between dimensions." "Understand," Zack and Core said together. Admiral Vax departed with his warship, and Luna watched it disappear into the sky. The twins remained standing beside her, looking at the devastated forest that was already beginning to heal. "Your council will not give up easily," Luna warned. "They will send others." "Let them come," Core said with determination. "They will find dragons waiting. And elves," Zack added, looking at Luna with those golden eyes that had first seen her in the crystal pool. Luna felt her dragons purr contentedly on her shoulders. The universe had become more complicated, but also more hopeful. 6 months later, the dragon eggs began to hatch. Luna stood with Zack and Core at the edge of the nesting site, watching as the first shell cracked from within. The twins had spent every day since the Admiral left learning from Luna about dragons, void spawn, and the strange magic that Earth had rediscovered. The baby dragon that emerged was no bigger than Luna's hand scales, shifting between silver and gold as it moved. Its eyes were warm amber instead of the white fire of its mother. The tiny creature looked around at the gathered watchers and made a sound like a chirping song. The mother dragon rumbled proudly as one by one her 12 eggs began to crack. Each baby was different in color and temperament, some bold and curious, others shy and careful. All were perfect in their own way. One with scales of deep purple seemed particularly interested in the twins. It wobbled over to them on unsteady legs and studied them with intelligent eyes. When Kor offered his hand, the baby dragon climbed up his arm and settled on his shoulder. Luna smiled as she watched. "You have been chosen," she told Kor. "That is rare honor. Dragon choosing non-human as companion." Kor looked at the tiny dragon with wonder, while his brother Zack laughed with joy. The purple dragon chirped and small sparks of violet fire danced around its mouth. Over the months, the twins had proven themselves in ways Luna had not expected. They learned to sense dimensional cracks before they opened. They developed ability to channel their joining energy into weapons that could harm void spawn. And most surprisingly, they could hear dragon speech, though they could not yet speak it themselves. A communication alert interrupted the celebration. Luna activated her wrist. Device and hologram of another elf appeared. "Lieutenant Martinez. This is Captain Chen from Earth Command. We have received your reports about Andromedan Contact Council has decided to send 5 more elves to your sector. You are promoted to commander and given authority to establish official training program." Luna bowed her head in acknowledgement. "Understood, Captain." "Who are they sending?" 3 from the European Sanctuary and 2 from the Asian Preserve, all experienced with dragon bonds. They arrive within the week. Also sending someone else you should know about. The hologram shifted to show human male but changed like Luna was. Pointed ears and golden skin that seemed to shimmer. He had marks on his face that looked like scales. "This is Ambassador Marcus Troy." Captain Chen explained, "First of the Dragonkin human-dragon hybrid from the North American Preserve. He will handle diplomatic relations with Andromedans. Luna had heard of Dragonkin but never met one. They were even rarer than elves created, when human and dragon formed such deep bond that they began to physically merge. It was not transformation that could be controlled. It simply happened to some pairs who grew too close." The communication ended, and Luna turned to find both twins staring at her with concern. "More elves coming means they expect more trouble," Zack said. Luna nodded. The void spawn attacking Settlement 7 were not isolated incident reports coming in from across the galaxy, dimensional cracks opening in places they never existed before. "Something is changing in the space between realities." The mother dragon who had been listening made long, complex sound that Luna translated. "She says the ancient enemy stirs, the first void, the hunger that exists outside all realities. It has been sleeping for million years, but now wakes. Dragons have passed this warning through generations, waiting for this time." Kor held his baby dragon carefully as he asked, "What can we do against something that old and powerful?" Luna watched her. 3 dragons playing with the new hatchlings, teaching them to fly in short hops. "We do what humans have always done. We adapt, we survive. We find way to win even when winning seems impossible." The twins had set up their own camp near Luna. Over the months they had learned to live in the forest, to move quietly through the trees, to respect the natural world, in a way their technological civilization had forgotten. That evening, as the sun set over Zerion 7, Luna found herself back at the crystal pool where everything had started. The twins were with her this time, invited to share the peaceful space. They sat on the pool edge, while dragons both small and large played in the shallows. Zack broke the comfortable silence. "When we first saw you, that night we thought we had found something from Legend Elf, bathing in moonlight with dragons as guardians. It seemed like story from old Earth. And now," Kor continued, "you are friend, teacher, and bridge between our peoples. Still legendary, but in different way." Luna smiled as she watched Spark try to teach the purple hatchling how to breathe fire properly. The baby dragon managed only small puffs of violet smoke but kept trying with determination. "I never expected any of this," she admitted. "When Earth remnant forces sent me here, I thought I would patrol alone for years. Maybe fight few void spawn track some smugglers. Instead, I helped create alliance between 3 species and possibly save this entire sector." The mother dragon arrived at the pool and carefully entered the water. Her massive form displaced waves that made the smaller dragons ride the currents like surfers. She settled into the deepest part, and steam rose as her heated scales met. Cool water, a ship appeared in the evening sky descending toward the cleared landing area the twins had built. Luna recognized it as Earth design, but modified with technology she did not recognize. It landed smoothly, and the ramp lowered. 5 elves emerged, each with their own dragon companions. Some dragons were size of large dogs, others small like Luna's 3. All different colors and temperaments that matched their bonded partners. Behind them came Marcus Troy, the dragonkin. His movements were fluid and strange, part human, part something else. His eyes were vertical slits like dragon, and when he smiled, his teeth were slightly pointed. "Commander Martinez," he said with bow that was both respectful and foreign. "I bring greetings from Earth Council and hope for our shared future." Luna stood to meet them, feeling the weight of her new rank and responsibility. She was no longer lone patrol officer, but leader of what might become galaxy-changing alliance. "Welcome to Zarian 7, she said. "This is where we make our stand." Against the void, over the following days, the new arrivals integrated into the growing community. The elves began teaching the twins and selected Andromedan volunteers who arrived daily. Each student was tested for sensitivity to dimensional energy and ability to bond with dragons. Not all could do it. Many Andromedans lacked the mental flexibility to accept magic alongside technology. But those who could, including Zack and Kor, became first of new order of protectors. Marcus Troy proved to be skilled diplomat managing the delicate negotiations between Earth remnant forces and the Andromedan Council. He established protocols for dragon protection laws against hunting or capturing them and guidelines for void spawn response teams. The mother dragon allowed some of her children to bond with worthy Andromedans, though she watched each pairing carefully, ready to intervene if any showed signs of trying to control rather than partner with the young dragons. Luna found herself at the center of it all. The elf who had bathed alone in Crystal Pool was now commander of growing force that might be the galaxy's only hope against the increasing void spawn threat. One night, as she stood watch over the dimensional crack that remained, sealed but dormant, the twins joined her. They moved with the silence she had taught them, their dragon companions perched on their shoulders. "We never thanked you properly," Zack said, "for trusting us despite how we met, for teaching us even after our admiral threatened you." Kor added. Luna looked at the twins who had become her students and friends. Their golden eyes still held the wonder from that first night, but now also held wisdom and purpose. "You earned that trust," she said. "You stood with me, against your own people when it mattered. You chose the difficult right over the easy wrong." The purple dragon on Kor's shoulder chirped and breathed a small jet of violet fire that danced in the night air. The twins had named her Hope, because that is what she represented. Hope that different species could work together. Hope that the void could be held back. Hope that the galaxy could survive. What was coming? A communication came through from Earth. Command Captain Chen appeared in hologram again, her expression serious. "Commander Martinez, we are detecting massive dimensional instability in the Vega system. Largest crack ever recorded is forming. Request immediate response with all available assets." Luna looked at the twins, then at the other elves training nearby. This was it. The real war was beginning. "Understood, Captain," she responded. "We are ready," as she organized the response team. Luna reflected on how much had changed since that night in the pool. When the alien twins had accidentally seen her naked, they had seen more than just her body. They had seen possibility of alliance that no one had imagined. The mother dragon roared from her nest, sound that carried across the moon and into space itself. It was battle cry and promise. Dragons and elves and Andromedans would stand together against the void. Luna smiled as she prepared for war surrounded by allies she never expected to have. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but humans had evolved. Adapted, survived, and now they would teach others to do the same. The Void Spawn thought they faced primitive humans who had abandoned Earth. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Earth children had become something more, something magical, something deadly, and they protected their own. The story that began with accidental meeting in Crystal Pool had become legend across the Andromedan.